Добрий вечір і вітаємо вас до українського журналу. Це Тамара Денисенко і Василь Корнило щиро запрошуємо вас провести цю годину спільно з нами. Найперше ми хочемо подякувати всім нашим глядачам, котрі своєю моральною і фінансовою підтримкою дають нам змогу продовжувати наші щомісячні програми. Ми також дякуємо всім нашим спонсорам, без яких ми не могли б провадити і планувати наші програми на майбутнє. Їхня фінансова база справді нам допомагає, щоб показати нашу українську спадщину, мистецтво і культуру тут, в Рочестері і на загальному терені Нью-Йорк Стейт навіть. І добрий вечір, Василю.
Добрий вечір, Tamara. Good evening and welcome to Ukrainian Magazine for another fine evening of Ukrainian-American community broadcasting. Tonight's show will include two interviews, one with Valentin Moroz, a former Soviet dissident, Ukrainian dissident, who spent many years in the Siberian labor camp. And we also have an interview with Congressman Eckert talking about the latest U.S.-Soviet showdown in the Mississippi, the Miroslav Medved Ukrainian sailor case. We also have two guests appearing on a show later on tonight. And they are Bogdan Venglowski, who will be sharing with us wills. And we have a special segment, Tamara, and that is the Ukrainian kitchen.
Right, it's going to be a surprise.
Surprise. And the guest for that will be?
Мирон Коваль. На сьогоднішній програмі буде розмова із конгресменом Фред Еккерт, котрий дуже старався зберегти на волі українського моряка Мирослава Ведмедя, який, на жаль, повернули наш уряд до Совєтського Союзу. Буде інтерв'ю з бувшим політичним в'язнем Валентином Морозом, котрий тут мав промову з нагоди 1 листопада визвольних змагань на західних землях. Він також мав прес-конференцію з місцевою пресою 4 листопада завдяки старанням і праці Ірки Матичин, Валентини Макогон, пана Романа Куціля і Марти Шмігель. Нашим спеціальним гостем сьогодні є адвокат Богдан Венгловський, який скаже, чому є важне всім людям мати тестамент або заповіти. І ми будемо мати уривки із танцювального табору, який відбувся на Гленспей на Верховині. А нашу найновішу частину ми маємо, то є приємна несподіванка, українську кухню. І ми будемо мати українського так званого шеф-тел, українського шефа, який є тут нашій місцевій Мирон Коваль.
Наші люди будуть бачити, як це робити, приготовлювати обіди, а ми будемо їсти.
Так, і здається, буде напевно дуже смачне. А при кінці будемо витягати льоси, які ми говорили минулого разу, на смачний обід в ресторані.
A special feature awaiting us later on in tonight's broadcast will be a special segment of the Ukrainian workshop, dance workshop that was held in Glens Bay this past summer, and it's called the Verkhovena Ukrainian Dance Workshop. And we'll see some excerpts from the School of Dance, Ukrainian School of Dance, a little later.
А тепер коротке слово від одних із наших спонсорів. Вітаємо вас до Українського народного дому і щиро запрошуємо на смачну вечерю щоп'ятниці від 4 до 8 години вечора. В Українському народному домі до вибору є смачна риба і славні українські страви, та як голубці, вареники і борщ. Всі ці смачні страви можна замовляти додому. Тому садіть із родиною або з друзями на вечерю до Українського народного дому при 831 Joseph Avenue щоп'ятниці від 4 до 8 години вечора. A portion of Ukrainian Magazine is brought to you by the Ukrainian Fraternal Association, one of the foremost fraternal organizations in the United States and Canada. It offers all types of insurance policies, gives college tuition assistance, helps Ukrainian churches, cultural and social organizations, maintains the vacation resort Verkhovena, and publishes the weekly Народня Воля and the English language magazine Forum. За найкращою, сумнівною і веселою українською услугою при направі аут всіх виробів звертайтесь до Павла Прокопенка, власника гаража Paul's Mobile Service при 1196 Portland Avenue. Телефон 266-8053.
You know, Tamara, many Ukrainian Americans this past week were saddened with the latest Soviet-U.S. Incident that happened in the Mississippi, where a Ukrainian sailor jumped ship and was returned forcibly back to the Soviet Union.
Yes, that incident prompted a lot of action on the part of our local legislators, congressmen, and senators, and Fred Eckert was most adamant in his support of the young sailor.
I understand Fred Eckert did draft and wrote a letter to President Reagan showing his concern and dissatisfaction the way the U.S. handled the situation. And also, Tamara, while visiting here in Rochester at the St. Joseph's Parish for its feast day, you had an opportunity to interview Congressman Eckert.
Well, he was here at the feast day, but I interviewed him a week before that at an annual celebration, observance of Ukrainian Independence Day in Western Ukraine.
Okay.
And we had an interview with him at that time.
Let's see what happened.
Congressman Eckert, you recently wrote a strong letter to the President of the United States in regard to the attempted defection of a Ukrainian seaman. Could you tell us more about it, and what can we do, or the United States government can do, so these things don't happen again in the future?
Well, the case of Miroslav Medved, who is Ukrainian, a seaman who jumped a Soviet ship in New Orleans, is a very serious case. This man twice jumped into the Mississippi River to try to get away from that Soviet ship, and our local Border Patrol and immigration authorities put him back on that ship. That was a terrible mistake, because we well know, and they should know, that no Soviet ship leaves Soviet waters without KGB on board, and they put this Ukrainian seaman in position of being interrogated and intimidated by KGB, who had a full day to radio contact back in Ukraine with family. They could identify family, friends, neighbors of this man, and threaten him. And that's why they should not have turned him over in the first. They should have made absolutely certain of what he wanted to do. Well, of course, after he had been presumably threatened by KGB, then he signed a document saying that he really didn't want to defect. Well, we just put him in a terrible situation, and what we can do to be sure that doesn't reoccur is ask the President to dismiss those U.S. authorities responsible for such a blunder.
Is there a lack of people who speak different languages in the
Well, there was
Border
a
Patrol?
Ukrainian-American citizen, Irene Padov of New York City, who says that she spoke with Miroslav Medved and that he told her in Ukrainian that he wished to defect.
So whose mistake was it? The State Department?
No, it appears that it's the Border Patrol, the Immigration and Naturalization Services, and the State Department. There's a dispute. They claim that that isn't what she said. She says it is what she said. And they claim it's a misunderstanding. Well, it's a misunderstanding that affects one man's life very seriously.
What do you think the outcome will be of this event?
Well, as we're taping this today, of course, it's only the 3rd of November, and it's hard to predict what might happen. Because he has signed those papers, even though I presume under duress, it's very difficult. I've asked the President to detain that ship, and in light of the diplomatic difficulties, to consider turning him over to a neutral country, Switzerland, and let him have a second opportunity to declare his intention.
Do you think the upcoming Gorbachev and Reagan meeting has anything to do with attitude to this whole event?
Well, it often does in American public opinion, but I don't know that it did at the Border Patrol level when they were making these decisions. It's hard to say. Very hard to say.
Well, thank you very much,
Okay.
Congressman.
All right. Good to see you again.
Good luck to
Thank you.
That same evening when I spoke with Congressman Eckert, I also had a chance to interview our former political prisoner, Valentin Moroz, who spent over 13 years in the Soviet labor camps and who was tortured and beaten, and he was on a 145-day hunger strike.
And I believe Valentin Moroz now works with Harvard University, Tamara?
Yes, and he works now and lives in Toronto, where he teaches Ukrainian courses and is working on his memoirs in the Soviet prison camps. And we'd like to know.
And I believe you had an interview with
Yes.
Valentin, and for our viewers, an exclusive Tamara interviewing Professor Valentin Moroz.
Пане Мороз, ви тільки що говорили про події визвольних змагань на західних землях, про 1 листопада. Як історик, що ви думаєте, українці повинні тепер насвітлювати про свою історію на Заході у вільному світі?
На мою думку, тут не йдеться про якусь конкретну подію, важливу чи неважливу. Мені здається, що українці ще не встигли зробити найважливішого, щоб світовий читач, світовий слухач уявляв історичну Україну як цілість, як щось таке, що почалось з одного кореня і далі тягнулось. Бо знаємо, що російські і інші історики витворили такий міт, що ми були разом з ними, а потім відділилися. Отже, головне, на мою думку, створити концепцію у світі, що Україна – це щось таке, що було з самого початку, щось своє, і далі тяглись. А найновіші матеріали з праісторії України показують таки, що Україна була з давніх давин чимось абсолютно окремим.
Дуже добре. Ви вже пробули на Заході около 7 років. Які є тепер ваші враження про Захід загально, а про українську громаду в Америці, в Канаді особливо?
Ну, бачите, жартом то я кажу так, що я приїхав на Захід, а виявилось, що Заходу нема. Найліпший доказ та історія з моряком. В тому ціла трагедія, що комунізм, тож комунізм не на полиці в книжці Маркса, а комунізм, який є могутньою тоталітарною системою, комунізм робить плановий наступ, а Захід не існує як концепція. В цьому відношенні я б не сказав, що я розчарований, я просто так серйозно задуманий, які ресурси шукати на Заході, щоб він дійсно міг як система протистояти тій великій загрозі з боку Москви, з боку Китаю. Ну а коли йдеться про українську громаду, то тут можна підійти з двох боків. Звичайно, українець, який приїжджає з України, той, який щось там робив в таких тяжких умовах, сподівається, що тут то роблять більше. Ну, але виявляється потім, що Схід і Захід – то різні системи. Врешті людина заспокоюється і бачить, що українська етнічна група в західних країнах не найгірша. Я би відніс до найкращих. Можливо, лише жиди краще зорганізовані, як українці. Можна багато критикувати, але якщо так збоку глянути, ми досить добре виглядаємо, на мою думку.
То для нас ще є майбутнє.
Я думаю.
Вже протягом декілька років відбуваються різні спроби знеславити українське ім'я і українську громаду в Америці, в Канаді. Що, на вашу думку, можуть українці в діаспорі робити, щоб з'єднатись і з'єднано протиставитись проти тих різних нападів?
То, може, найліпше питання з вашого інтерв'ю. Тут відповідь одна – позбутись комплексу. Я вам дам один приклад. На заході Канади, в Едмонтоні, де українці вже дійсно чудують себе канадцями, господарями краю, але українськими. Там посадник міста Едмонтону, Декур, українець, просто сказав, що комісія дешейна – то свинство. Він не боявся, що на це скаже уряд Канади. Це чудовий приклад українця без комплексу, який вже воює, так би мовити, відчуваючи, що він має права не менші, як будь-хто інший. Мені здається, головна проблема наша, що наші керівники ще не позбулись того комплексу. Вони бояться, так би мовити, з відкритим обличчям іти в бій. Але мені здається, що ці маніфестації, які тепер відбулись проти тих судів, спочатку в Оттаві, потім в Нью-Йорку, це добрий початок. Треба далі так продовжувати.
Чому ви думаєте, вони бояться, наші?
Наші керівники – це люди, які приїхали з іншого краю. Такі люди завжди чують себе розгубленими, так званий culture shock і так далі. Все це ще відбивається. Ми навіть свої вивіски робимо маленькими. Якось так смішно навіть, ніби комплекс переслідування, щоб сховатися. Ми на наших церквах вішаємо такі малесенькі значки, що навіть не видно. От тут ваша церква, Йосафата, приємний виняток, що написано великими літерами. Як правило, того нема. Значить, щоб мати успіх, треба говорити на повний голос. Мені здається, то головна умова.
А які є ваші особисті плани на майбутнє?
Особисті плани на майбутнє. Найближчий план, я не задоволений собою, бо я мав давно скінчити тюремні спогади. Вже є тюремні спогади, як би сказати, совітська система, побачена очима росіянина, Солженіцина спогади. Є вже не одні спогади, побачені жидівськими очима. Тепер потрібно дати Заходові, як би сказати, совітську систему, побачену українськими очима. Хочу то зробити, то нелегко. Пишу тюремні спогади, це головне, що я зараз роблю. І крім того, так в плані багато чого. Наприклад, я почав тепер курси української мови, історії України в системі відділу освіти Board of Education в Торонті. І побачив, що в цьому велика перспектива. На другий рік я планую англомовний курс, який буде називатися так хитро по-канадському Soviet Union Achievements and Problems. Так, дуже об'єктивно. Аналіза сучасного Совєтського Союзу. Значить, в принципі, мої плани – це, більше оволодівши англійською мовою, мати реальний доступ до західного слухача, щоб інформувати його з українського боку.
Дуже дякую, пане Мороз, і вітаємо вас у Рочестері.
Вам дякую, і я заздрю рочестерцям, що вони мають такого гарного анаунсера на українській телевізії.
Дуже дякую.
Stay tuned for a drawing, as promised on last month's show, for dinner for two at the Elm Grove Inn. They'll be coming up shortly, but before we break, a little word from our sponsor.
На всі ваші спеціальні оказії зайдіть до одинокої української крамниці напитків в місті Рочестер, власники якої є панство Люба і Любомир Шміглі. В крамниці Люба Лико ви знайдете великий вибір різноманітних напитків з доступними цінами. Крамниця Люба Лико знаходиться при 701 Tyrus Avenue в Івандикой. Телефон 266-3523.
We at the Paul W. Harris Funeral Home would like to take this opportunity to thank all the families in the Ukrainian community who have patronized us in the past 40 years. We have tried to earn your confidence with our personal and courteous pre-arrangement counseling and our dependable professional service. Please, we invite you to compare our facilities, service, and price with any other funeral home in the Rochester area. We hope you will consider the services of the Harris Funeral Home for pre-arrangement counseling or when the need arises.
Українська кредитова спілка – це своєрідна і виїмкова фінансова установа, яка є зорганізована, проваджена і контрольована своїми членами, базою якої є братські союзи – Український народний союз та Український братський союз. Українська кредитова спілка завжди давала найкращі услуги і користі своїм членам, а тепер дає вищі дивіденди на ощадностях та уділяє різні позички на вигідних умовах, яких не дають інші фінансові установи. Тому зайдіть до Української кредитової спілки при 831 Джозеф Евеню або дзвоніть на телефон 544-9518. Години урядування є вівторок, середа, четвер від 10 до 3 пополудні, п'ятниця від 2 до 8 і субота від 9:30 до 1. А тепер ми будемо мати танець із верховини, привітальний танець танцювальної школи Роми Прими Богачевської. Ми можемо бути дуже горді, що початок тої танцювальної школи почався тут у Рочестері заходом провідників танцювального ансамблю «Черемош».
Yes, Tamara, what we are about to see is the Verkhovina workshop that was performed, the dance ensemble that was performing in Glen Spey this past summer. Much hard work put into practicing, learning new steps, choreography, 8 to 10 hours a day, students from all over the U.S. and Canada working together here in Glen Spey, and now the product of their hard work we're about to see.
A beautiful dance.
And it's called?
Привіт.
Привіт. They're welcoming. We hope you enjoyed the Ukrainian dance segment from the Verkhovina workshop held this past summer at Glens Bay. Right now, Ukrainian Magazine would like to welcome its next guest on our show tonight, and the gentleman is a lawyer by profession, Mr. Bogdan Węglowski, who is also known throughout our Ukrainian American community here in Rochester, New York. Also, he happens to be our president of our big Ukrainian Federal Credit Union Bank, and he's here tonight to talk with us on wills and testaments.
Вітаємо тебе, Богдане, до нашої програми. Чи ти б міг нам розказати, що є тестамент або will по-англійському?
Прошу, дякую, що мене запросили. Тестамент – то є документ, виписаний, що людина підписує у присутності двох свідків. І той документ розпоряджає, що робиться з маєтком після смерті. То є дуже такий легкий документ виписати, але він є дуже важливий. І багато наших людей, і всі люди боються того документу, я не знаю чому. Я думаю, може всі не люблять вмирати або журитися про маєток, або після смерті. Але
як людина не має цей тестамент, може дуже тяжко тоді буде родині майно діставати від суду?
Найбільша проблема є, як людина не має цілком близької родини. І то є один пункт, що я хочу підкреслити, що багато наших іммігрантів, чи старих іммігрантів, чи нових іммігрантів, приїхали до Америки і, на жаль, не мають близької родини, не мають жінки, дітей, братів, сестер.
Тут
в Америці. І їм примусово мусить бути тестамент. Бо як ні, то найближча родина у Совєтському Союзі, чи де то може бути, має право взяти той маєток і перебрати ті гроші. Але найбільша річ є, що частина тих грошей йде до совєтської влади також.
А як вони знають, що тут людина мер?
Як вони знають? На жаль, совєтська амбасада має своїх адвокатів у Нью-Йорк-Сіті і має фірму тут в Рочестері також. Що вони слідуть за такими справами, що як є жінка, діти або близька родина і немає тестаменту, то вони дуже легко можуть покласти руки на ті гроші.
Чи ти думаєш, що всім людям потрібно, молодим і старшим, виповнити такий тестамент?
Я би казав так, треба піти до доктора раз на рік, раз на 3 роки, як добре часом взяти аспирин, як голова болить. Добре мати тестамент, бо він є дуже коштовний. Скажімо, такий тестамент не дуже скомплікований, то $50, найбільше 75. А як є більше скомплікований, зробити такий траст, як ми говоримо, що лишити грошей для дітей у імені когось другого, траст. То може більше роботи там є, то може найбільше буде коштувати $150, щось такого. Але за той кошт, то той документ покриває всі ті проблеми після смерті. І я також дуже радий, щоб наші люди робили, всі люди робили тестамент, як вона ще є здорова. Бо як людина є хора, добре не чується, то вона також може не буде мати добрий план. Нам мусить про всіх подумати і зробити конкретний, важний план.
Значить, що ніколи не пізно робити тестамент, або ніколи не є заскоро?
Так, маєш рацію. Я би рекомендував, щоб якнайскорше зробити. Але, на жаль, людині нічого не болить, ніхто її не бадрує, і люди про тестамент не думають.
А часом люди бояться робити тестамент, бо думають, що його ніколи не можна змінити, як вже раз зробили.
Тестамент – то є документ, що кожного дня можна змінити. Як можна змінити тестамент? Як ви маєте оригінал, візьміть той тестамент і його подріть. Кінець, вже тестаменту немає. Або зробити тестамент новий, що канцелює старий. То є найбільш практична річ. На жаль, треба йти до адвоката, зробити правильно. Деякі наші люди думають, я сам випишу тестамент. І то ніколи не виходить після права. І є неважний тоді.
Але то найголовніше, як ти кажеш, що ті люди, що без близької родини тут, щоб вони особливо би мусили зробити, щоб ніхто другий не дістав їхнє тяжко зароблене майно.
Деякі люди, на жаль, не розуміють параграфи і тим не журяться. Я би казав всім людям, що мають таких приятелів, що знають, що немає близької родини, візьміть її за руку, візьміть її до адвоката, до кого ви хочете, щоб пішов, щоб вияснив їм, яка то проблема є справді. Можна лишити ті гроші, скажімо, на родину, на українські, скажімо, організації. Ліпше що з тим зробити, лише щоб то лишити, щоб то пішло, скажімо, десь до Совєтського Союзу.
Чи були випадки такі, що Совєтський Союз користав нашими, скажімо, нашими громадянами? Чи в Канаді, чи в
Канаді, в Америці можна читати цілий час на «Свободі», в других газетах, що як нема тестаменту, і найближча родина є у Совєтському Союзі, та родина має право до того маєтку.
Ну, то ми щиро тобі дякуємо, Богдане, що ти прийшов і поділився деякими такими інформаціями з нашими глядачами.
We thank you very much, Bogdan Węglowski, for sharing with us the testimonials, testaments, and wills for our Ukrainian community. Thank you for being with us.
Welcome to the Ukrainian Civic Center. We hope you will join us on Friday evenings for dinner. Every Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. we are serving our delicious fish fries, plus famous Ukrainian specialties such as holubchi, pirohev, or try our UCC kozak platter, homemade borscht, and clam chowder, plus your favorite beverages. We also have complete takeout service. Join us soon, the Ukrainian Civic Center Fish Fry, every Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., 831 Joseph Avenue.
Soon these streets will be teeming with people, all going after the American dream of success, just like you. Perhaps you should subscribe to the Wall Street Journal before they get here.
Call 800-228-5500 for this new journal offer. 13 weeks for just $28 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $28. Phone 800-228-5500 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Користайтесь найновішою обслугою Української кредитової спілки ShareDrafts. Українська кредитова спілка дає ShareDrafти, чекові конта своїм членам без місячної оплати, платить квартальну дивіденду, висилає щомісячний звіт розрахунків і затвердженим членам дає відкритий кредит на випадок браку фондів на конті. Тому зайдіть до Української кредитової спілки при 831 Joseph Avenue або телефонуйте за ширшими інформаціями на 544-9518.
А тепер ми вітаємо вас у нашій українській кухні. Сьогодні ми маємо приємну несподіванку. Наш шеф на сьогоднішній вечір є український шеф-тел, наш славний Мирон Коваль. Вітаємо тебе, Мироне.
Добрий вечір, дякую.
Добрий вечір.
Good evening and welcome to Ukrainian Kitchen. And we welcome our new chef today, or the first chef that we had in our program, that is Chef Miron Koval. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I guess tonight what we're going to do is learn how to make holubchi. Holubchi is a basic Ukrainian food. Every Sunday I ate holubchi. My mother was sick and tired of holubchi. I went away to college. I love holubchi. Never eat holubchi, and we're going to learn how to make it. Basic ingredients: onions, solanina, salt pork, very good. The kapusta, that's what you need. Greeks make holubchi with from vinograd,
from the
leaves of grapes. Yes.
Right.
All right, but they use lamb, and we'll use ground beef that we have right here, and rish or rice. So we've got plenty of everything that we need. It's an inexpensive meal and it tastes delicious.
And how many do you make out of that one head of cabbage and this kapusta?
About, well, you feed a party of about 10, I would expect. A family of 4 for at least 3 days. Depends on how hungry they are. Anyway, first thing that we want to do, we're going to core the kapusta. I started it out a little bit like here. And you just want to take this thing, don't take it too deep.
And I think you need a sharp knife for
You
that,
need
right?
a sharp knife. This is a little bit too big. A paring knife would be better where you could get down into it. But we're going to core this thing down in here. And don't worry if you don't get it all at the first time. It comes out, looks like this, and get it down in there. But don't go too deep. If you do, you'll put a hole in the bottom and you won't make...
Kapusta flying.
Kapusta flies. You got to have, you know... That's okay.
Be careful to cut your hand too, Miron, right?
Well, the important part is to get a good grip on the kapusta. My grandmother used to do it like this. I said, Baba, don't, you know, that's all right. But you just cut it around like this. Nice and core it. And what you want to do is the part of the kapusta, the vein that comes to the middle of the core, holds on to it. You want to be able to, when you boil the leaves, I'm going to put this in hot water, and when you boil the leaves, they'll be coming out. Just take this right out just like that. Okay, here we go, a cord kapusta. We're going to put it in the water. Now this is hot. We've already got it boiling, and because it's boiling so hot, we're going to put it in with our fork over here. Now, the water is salted. Okay, we put a little bit of seed.
So for how long do you steam it or boil it?
It's going to stay there for a few minutes, just a few minutes, because we'll peel the leaves off as they get cooked.
How do you know when it's soft enough for you to take off the leaves?
Well, the color of the leaves, and we're going to take a look at that in a moment. Right now, we're going to prepare the solanina. Now, the solanina, the salt pork, what you want to do is put it in the freezer. Get it cold. Get it nice and cold so that it stays together. On the hot lights over here, we got a little bit of melting, but dice it all the way down across and all the way here. Dice it and coming across the bottom like that, and we'll have nice small chunks like this. Okay?
So you got to take it off the
off of the skin. The other side is the skin. Now we'll use the skin later on, and we won't want to throw that away. Bill, could you hold that for me?
Sure, man.
Okay. Put it over the bottom of the table here. We're just going to put the solanina right down in there.
That's
now
what I like to see,
nice
guys
and cupped
cooking.
up. Guys cooking. They're the best eaters, so they ought to know how to cook. Now, we haven't been able to take all of the fat and things that are needed in here. It gives it the flavor, but it's not going to be in the holubchi. We're going to put it right in here, but we'll take it out later and put it right on the stove.
There we go.
And we've got medium heat, and it's going to fry up a little bit. And then after it's gotten golden brown, we'll put in the onions. And then you'll see what's going to happen then.
I see you chopped up the onions quite coarse. Is that
well, I used a very large onion, as a matter of fact, but there's two ways to chop an onion. There's the Ukrainian method, and there's the French and English method. Ukrainians take an onion and they go ras, dva, tre, just like that. And you shouldn't show that on television because
you might.
And then they do this right into the pan. And yeah, they do it very quickly. That's an experienced chef that does that sort of thing. You've been in the kitchen so long, they don't want to play with the board.
And doesn't cut his fingers off, right?
No, and you shouldn't do what I'm doing right here. Should use the board and put the onion down and get nice slices off of it. And that's, now they are cut coarse, but we're going to use half of this to put over the top of the holubchi when they're finished. And the other half, which will go into the ingredients.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the listachki come off the kapusta. They just peel off very easy. And you just have a nice little fork, and you pull them off one at a time as they come off. Now, the kapusta leaves are kind of white when they go in. You boil them and they start turning a little bit gray. Use the top of the roaster, and the roaster that we have here, we're going to use that. And the bottom, the first leaves that we pull off are very important. So,
do you use them for the holubchi, or do you put them?
No.
No.
No. They're used. Holubchi are called pigs in a blanket. This is going to be our blanket.
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to take a little bit for some of these to go through.
And so, how long did you boil the kapusta?
Oh, it'll boil a while. You just have to wait as the leaves come through, and make sure that the color of white has gone out, and they turn a little bit gray, a little gray-green, so a little translucent.
Don't you kind of cut off the back of the kapusta?
We're going to have to do that when it gets cold.
Oh.
If you do it when it's hot, you're going to burn your fingers for sure. Okay.
You learning much, Vasil?
Oh, I'm going to have to try this tomorrow.
That's right.
Vasil, do you cook this for your wife? I don't know. I'm coming over for sure. Do you think you can after I explain this?
Absolutely. You're doing a very, very nice job. You're taking your time. And,
it takes time. Holubchi, to make holubchi, it takes a good hour and a half to have everything ready and go through it. So we're going to have the kapusta will come off in about 10 minutes, so it takes a little bit of a time.
Just
Okay, we've sauteed some onions in solanina, and it's a nice golden brown. We'll put it in here. Let's get the spoon here.
Okay. Looks. Maybe you can put the frying pan the other way so our people can see.
Oh, well, okay. We'll turn it all the way around. I didn't want to burn your hand. That's all it was. Okay. You know what? Maybe we could do. I'll put this back here.
Very nice, golden brown.
Bill, could you get rid of these onions over here? We're going to use these onions sauteed in butter just as a topping. Very good. Okay, and rice. Now, when you cook the rice, you par cook the rice, not all the way. Usually the rule of thumb is 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice.
Right.
A teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of butter.
You're very good.
Yes, I am. But what we're going to do is take it to about 1.5 cups, even less, 1 1/4 cup. You know when you take spaghetti and you bite it and it's just not done on the inside? That's what you want your rice to be.
And how many cups did you use here?
This is 2 cups.
2 cups, okay.
2 cups. And this will make a whole rinko holopchi just like we have here. We'll put rice in, nice and fluffy. I don't even think we'll have to use all of it here. Okay, nice and fluffy rice. And ground beef.
And how much of the ground beef?
About a pound, 1.25 pounds. It depends how much you like it. But ground beef, use not a very fatty beef, you know, like hamburger or something like that. And we'll just
ground
put that
chuck,
in.
no good?
Ground chuck is what we have right here, as a matter of fact. Okay, that's about enough, what we've got right now. And salt and pepper, and that's going to be the taste. You're going to have to find out. I would say, a couple of shakes here and about a teaspoon.
How do you know?
You've already said, well, that's a little less than that. You know?
Experience.
Practice, you practice.
I'm coming over.
The American chef goes like this. The Ukrainian mother goes like this. And it's a lot easier, believe me. Put your hands in it. New York State law says before anybody who works in a restaurant has to put their hands in the food. And this is a much quicker and a better way to get a nice consistency in here.
It mixes up better,
you
right?
washed your hands 2 minutes. We noticed that.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're all set. We're going to make a nice mixture here. And it's kind of like a corned beef hash or something. It has that kind of consistency into it. And pretty soon, we're going to have the fun part. When this is all mixed up, so it has a good consistency, so that all the rice is all together and all the meat is all together. And we're right there pretty much.
So it's basically going to look maybe like this, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
And we're right there, right now. Nice and fluffy.
Okay.
Now, let me get a paper towel over here. And this is the fun part.
Oh, okay. I enjoy fun
Is there participation? Have you ever done this before?
Well, I did try it at home, but my husband said I don't do too well in the kitchen, so I like to learn.
Well, that's why he should watch this program.
That's right. He can do it, though.
Okay, what we're going to do, now all these listashke, the leaves have a vein. You don't need that vein. You want to cut that right off. And use the top because you're going to throw that stuff away anyway. You really don't need it.
Any special
But
reason
then, why don't you try one?
for cutting the vein?
Try one.
Try one,
Any
yeah.
special reasons for cutting the vein?
It's, well, when you have to roll it, it gets in the way and it pushes the meat out to the side. So you want to cut it.
Just like that, right?
That's it. You've got it.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
You want to try one also?
Well,
Here,
I
let's
wanna
get
try.
a nice one.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I'm a lefty, so everything...
You want to save the biggest leaves. That's
Okay, so
what you want to
got...
do. Now,
Wow.
very good.
See?
Hey.
You're a good teacher.
Well, it's not the first time for you either, is it? Okay.
In America.
Now, put it in your palm with the vein facing you, just like that. Okay. Take about, tablespoon and a half, and push it up right where your fingers are, just like that.
Very good, Basil.
There
See?
we go, huh? That's about a
That's about it.
That's good, right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll do it better.
We're going to see whose holopchies are better.
That's
I got a bet going right now. Wait a minute. Hey!
Flying saucers.
Okay, so you've got it all in here. Take one side, just like that. The other side, just like that. Okay, the vein is over here, the top part of it, and you make it nice and flat.
Okay, I did
just
it
like
the wrong
that.
way.
Yeah,
This was
turn it
see?
around. Wait, no, I think you have. Put that right in your palm, just like that. You've got it. There he is.
Okay,
Okay, pat it down.
pat it down.
Nice, Horowitz. Okay, take your hand right at the bottom, twist ras, dva, tre.
See, I'm doing it lefty, so it's kind of
Perfect.
Your size, huh?
Perfect. Well, you get a bigger leaf, you have a bigger Horowitz. Now, let me just put this down over here on the paper towel. What we're going to do. Hey, that's pretty
Very
good.
Very good.
That's not bad either. Okay, look, we've got 3 of them here.
Okay.
What we want to do, and they are pigs in the blanket. Now, the big leaves, the green leaves, are not good to make holopchi with. They're too big. So what you do, you don't have to take the vein out of these things because no one's really going to eat them. But you make a bed right on the inside. Just flop the leaf over the top over here, like that. One. And all the big ones, just flop the leaf over the top. A couple in the bottom.
That will probably prevent the holopchi from burning.
You can't burn, yeah. That will stop them from burning, and they'll bake inside of the leaves. Now, some of these leaves that we are using right now are pretty good, but we'll use them anyway.
Okay, and then when you lay it out, then you put in the holopchi.
There we are. We have our holopchi, but cover the pan first. Put the holopchi in, right in the corner, round the circle.
Maybe you can kind of lift it up so people can see.
Around the circle. Let's get another one here.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'll make another one too.
Oh boy, oh boy.
No matter who's going to be better.
Well, we're gonna have a
We're gonna have a
tasting party.
race. Wait a minute.
There we go.
Okay.
No.
No?
See, look how I have mine.
You have it the opposite
See,
way?
you put yours like this.
I tell you,
Put it down at the bottom like that so it lays over your fingers.
Oh, I see.
That's faster. And you drop it here and then spread it over your fingers and it'll pop the other way automatically. Raz, dva, raz, dva, tre. Beautiful.
Okay. Very good. Then, when we finish rolling up the whole pan of holopchi, what do we do then?
Okay. We're not going to make a whole pan of holopchi, but what we'll do is tomato juice. When the rinka or the pan is full, we'll cover the top with leaves and pour tomato juice right over the top, just about to the point it reaches the top. All right, about halfway to the top holopchi. Just
it starts covering it.
just to start. When you see the level coming up, and then you stop, and then cover the whole thing with the leaves that you've left on the side, just like that.
Okay.
And the leaves that you have left over here, the big ones, and cover it. And we're going to take a look at what it looks like when it's finished. Now, after you've done all this, you call your mother and say, Ma, how hot do I put it, and how long should I have it in there? Right? You do that. I know you do that.
I call my mother.
But no. You should have it in there. The longer and slower it cooks, the better they're going to be. So at 325, 350 for about 3 hours for a large roaster. 2.5 hours is most, and then 2 hours and let it sit for an hour. Let it sit.
That's not a quickie meal that you can do right after
Oh, it's not a quickie meal. It's an hour and a half to make it. And
3 hours to bake it.
3 hours to bake it. But in the meantime, you can work in the garden, do the laundry, whatever you have to do. And it's okay. The oven does all the work. And here we go.
Wow, look at
Whoa. Now,
Okay, I'm all,
this is how we've covered it up with the
we
cabbage.
we need a fork to get the leaves
Here we
out.
go. These are the very big leaves that we have on here. Let's just put them over there.
Cabbage patch dolls you can look at. We have cabbage heads
That we
here
can
holopchi that we can eat.
And I'm all excited and waiting to eat one of them.
Let's use one of these here.
You got even golden forks to eat them with. Okay, one.
Nice. Ooh, falling apart here. There's one nice.
That's it.
Thank you.
Bon appetit,
I want one
as Julia's child would say, right?
Okay, which one was
Bon
which, though?
appetit.
Remember, we
Who
all...
knows? I know the one that fell apart was the one that you made. I know that. It was the truth. Here we go. And one more.
Okay, that's for the chef.
Okay.
Boy.
They're steaming and they're hot. Let them cool.
Okay. І як по-українськи ми кажемо, смачного.
Ого.
Дякую. Not bad.
Very good, but hot. So be careful when you eat them, take them out of the oven. Very good. And thank you, український chef Mira.
Дякую. Chef сказал to you.
Thank you, Mira, for being our host on Ukrainian Kitchen.
And
Thank you.
we'd like to
And
have
we'd
you
like
back.
to be back sometime.
Yes, and the next thing we'd like to have is vareniki.
And borscht.
And borscht.
That's right.
Again, Miron, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
It was
And
fun.
With a snap of my finger, back to our studios.
Ta-da! Back. Oh, I see, Vasil, you left some of the holopchi on you.
Ukrainians are sloppy
Sloppy
eaters.
eaters. Watch the mustache, too. Okay. На цім кінчається наша програма. Ми щиро дякуємо вам, що ви провели цю годину спільно з нами. І пригадуємо вам, що після нашої програми прошу слухати українську радіопрограму на 3WG.
That about wraps up our program for this evening. We thank you for staying tuned with us today. Tamara, we have a couple of things we'd like to do right now to wrap up, and one of them is the drawing that we promised.
It's a special part of our program, and
Why don't you reach out over here, because
Okay.
these are all the
Just
cards.
shake it up real hard.
These are all the cards that our viewers sent us last month, and we promised them a steak dinner for two.
І ми щиро дякуємо всім вам, що вислали картки і підтримуєте нас. А сьогодні ми вам віддячимося.
Compliments of the Elm Grove Inn.
Right, 2 beautiful dinners.
Why don't you
Okay.
reach in there, Tamara, and pick a nice winner out? Some
Oh,
lucky,
they're all nice people.
lucky person right here.
Okay.
And Tamara, we have
And the lucky winner is Mr. Victor Simkolo, 69 Edgebrook Lane. And we congratulate you, and I hope you take your wife with you for the dinner.
congratulations, Vic, and enjoy yourself. Compliments of the Ukrainian Magazine TV program and Elm Grove Inn.
And if somebody doesn't want to go out to dinner, wants to cook at home, we have a special cookbook that you can purchase at the Svoboda bookstore or at our local Mozaika at the St. Joseph's or at the Kuti Company. And it's traditional Ukrainian cookery, so you can be prepared for Christmas.
It's written in English. Many
Yes.
of the fine holiday
And the holopchi that you had here, we saw here today,
saw here
and
today,
we had
and
here.
that we ate.
You can. There's a recipe in it here.
Speaking of things, Tamara, events coming up, we would like to share with our viewers our calendar of events coming up.
Okay, let's see.
On December 1st, from 1 to 5 p.m., the award-winning film about the man-made famine in the Ukraine will be shown at St. Mary's Protectress Church Hall. The address is 3176 St. Paul Boulevard. Donations are $5 for adults and $1 for students. The film is called Harvest of Despair. You saw a segment of that film last month. The film is being sponsored by the American Human Rights Committee, the local branch here in Rochester, New York. Okay. So again, come on down December 1st to St. Mary's Church Hall on St. Paul Boulevard, 3176, to see the Harvest of Despair film.
Okay, and on December 8th, on a Sunday, there will be a special meeting held to organize a local chapter of the committee to celebrate the millennium of Ukrainian Christianity, which will fall in 1988. This is a Ukrainian Harvard studies project under the auspices of the World Congress of Free Ukrainians to collect and translate into English all the liturgical and religious works of Ukrainian 1,000-year religious heritage. The meeting will be held at St. Joseph's School Auditorium at 3 p.m. So anyone who is interested in helping to celebrate and promote this special occasion in the Ukrainian community, please come to that meeting.
We also have, Tamara, on December 15th, we have the St. Joseph's elementary school? Parochial school. Christmas concert to be held in their school cafeteria. We ask everyone to come Sunday, December 15th to St. Joseph's cafeteria on Stanton Lane to view their children's Christmas program.
At 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yes.
And on Saturday, December 21st, the Ukrainian Ridna Shkola, Taras Shevchenko School of Ukrainian Studies, will hold their annual Christmas program at 12 p.m. All relatives, friends are invited to come and see what the children have done.
They always put on a nice show, you know, Tamara. Every year we go there and we try to film some of the shows for our viewers, and it just gets better and better every year.
And it's a pleasure to see young children continuing on with their heritage.
And speaking of Christmas, Tamara, we'd like to remind our viewers that our Christmas show is a 1.5-hour special.
We hope everybody will watch it.
Which will be aired not the usual last Sunday of the month, but the third Sunday.
December 22nd.
So keep that date, write it down, December 22nd at 7 o'clock. Tell your friends about it to tune in Ukrainian Magazine's Christmas special show.
Ми ще раз дякуємо всім за вашу підтримку і закликаємо вас дивитися на нашу програму 22 грудня, коли ми будемо мати нашу спеціальну різдвяну програму. А
тепер, Tamara, we want to thank our sponsors of the past, our patrons, for supporting us, for making this show possible. We also like to have you extend your help and ask for your help to sponsor us again and give us some of the financial backing that's required to maintain and keep a show like this going.
And now we'd like to wish everybody a very happy and joyous Thanksgiving coming up. So, and I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving too.
Thank you, Tamara. Happy Thanksgiving. It's a holiday that we're all looking forward to because good time to be with family, to relax, and really.
And don't forget about everybody else, and we wish everybody the best. And тепер бажаємо вам на добраніч.
Добраніч.
Дарунок милої, той весняний чарівний світ. Моя дівчинонько, цвіте душі мої, твоє кохання, як вишневий цвіт. Моя ти писанко, дарунок милої, той весняний чарівний світ. Моя дівчинонько, цвіте душі мої, твоє кохання, як вишневий